We are the Reds Down Under, and this is our podcast.
Well, this is countdown to kick off your pre-match build-up for each and every Liverpool Premier League clash. The Reds, well, they returned to winning ways last week against Nottingham Forest with a 1-0 late win. And I'm joined today by Tan from Tan Talks. Tan, last week was a bit of a snatch and grab sort of win, but how excited are you to see the Reds back in action, back at Anfield this week?
Oh, I can't wait. After last week's performance, it gave me PTSD from the first start of the season where we were having this late minute winners. And I was like, the ruled offside goal, I was like, I can't deal with the stress. But I feel like going into the game on the weekend, it's gonna be hopefully a lot more better and a lot more controlled. But I'm excited for it. How are you feeling?
No, really good. I think last week was probably one of our more. It wasn't the prettiest of performances, to be honest. But look, we're in a hunt now for top four, and obviously we need to pick up points, and that's what we did. Let's look ahead to team news in this one, shall we? Because last week we had a late scratching. Obviously, Florian Wirtz didn't feature due to an injury in the warm up. We are recording this and we won't get to see Arnie Slot's press conference, so he usually provides an update on team news. But it looked to me in training photos throughout the week like Jeremy Frimpong could be back in action, but Florian Wirtz is the one that I'm looking to see in this one. Are you expecting a fairly unchanged lineup from the team that faced Nottingham Forest on the weekend?
I am. And I'm still thinking Joe Gomez is right back as well because I want Sobo in the midfield. I was thinking Curtis Jones is right back, but if Joe's available, let's put him in there. I don't know if Jeremy will start. I don't think he would. I think that's rushing him, but maybe he might feature. Who knows? I don't know if Flo is back or not. We'll have to see what they say in the press conference, but I reckon you're fairly the same.
Yeah, I think that lineup last week. I mean, me and Tom had the argue and debate last week on Countdown to Kick Off whether Soboslai is the best option at right back because, like you mentioned, Joe Gomez is a player who can also fill that role. So we'll see what Slot says, I guess. But look, knowing Soboslai, as long as you put him on a free kick from about 30 yards out, he'll just bang one in top corner anyways.
Yeah.
Let's look at the visitors, West Ham. Obviously, they arrived to Anfield undefeated in their last 3 matches. And look, Tan, we obviously look at teams that have come to Anfield this season, and you know what? I think that West Ham could have a tiny bit of confidence. And I don't like to say that from a Liverpool perspective, but you look at some of the teams we've dropped points to this season, and I think West Ham might arrive here with a bit of confidence. Do you see them, sort of being that team that will come here and try and look for a snatch and grab? What are you sort of expecting from West Ham?
Look, I think West Ham will be very hungry. And I think the fact that they're unbeaten in 3 games, and even though they're in the relegation zone, every point for them will feel like a win. So I don't think they're going to come into this expecting, well, I don't think we can expect pre football from them. I think they're just going to be disciplined, just get their job done. And if they match us physically and tactically, then they could make it uncomfortable for us, which is what those teams have done. So they'll want to get a point out of it at least.
Yeah, I think West Ham are one of those teams, right, who have that creative spark, and they've got players like Jared Bowen, Socek, Aaron Wan-Bissaka's quite a strong outlet as well. But it's just for them whether they can match it for 90 with Liverpool. But this is if there's any time for an opposition team to come to Anfield and get a result, you feel like this week could certainly be up there. Let's switch to Liverpool, our team, obviously, of course, and the Reds. Yeah, it was scrappy at times last week, but we came away with the 3 points. Like I said, teams have come to Anfield and sort of taken points off us this year. Do you feel like this can finally be a match where we can go and put West Ham to the sword, keep a clean sheet, grab 2 or 3 goals, or do you think it'll be quite a tight contest?
Oh, it's actually so hard to even say because on paper, we should win this easily, but in reality, it's not like that. And our home record this season has been so inconsistent as well that, again, like we're dropping points to the lower teams when we actually need these points. So, I mean, some things that I've noticed or something that I picked up in the last game with Nottingham Forest was actually the timing of passes. So I saw one where Sobo was going to pass it to Ryan, but he didn't interpret the pass and someone else ended up getting the ball. And I was like, well, there's possession gone real fast. So
Yeah.
there's so many things that we need to work on, but I just hope that this is not going to be a bad result.
we'll get into our score predictions later, obviously, but yeah, you feel like we haven't had many decent times to remember at Anfield in terms of huge results. Like last year, I think we were beating teams by 2 goals or more. This year, you sort of head into a game 10. Like, are we gonna struggle in this one? What's it sort of gonna be like? And that's sort of the way this year's going, right? And obviously, we're still alive in three competitions: Champions League, as well as the Premier League and FA Cup. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm just hoping for an out and out win, but we'll get into our predictions later. But something I wanted to talk to you about on the pod this weekend. I'm sure you're aware that this is a conversation which is largely flowing within the Liverpool fans. That is Rio Ngamoa. Obviously, his spark when he came onto the field against Nottingham Forest was incredible. I think some of the commentators said he probably did more in what, the 15 minutes, I guess you could say, than Mo Salah and Gakpo did in the whole time. But we know that when he's come on and performed, that he hasn't necessarily been warranted with a start. But do you feel this is a game where Slot decides to use Ngamoa from the start?
Look, I can see both sides of the argument, and I think Rio is absolutely fantastic. We have a generational footballer on our hands potentially. I would love to see more from him, but I think Spot sees Rio as a game changer. Because let's be real, if Rio starts and gets taken off and Gakpo comes in, do we feel that sense of security? Let's say we're chasing a game. Do you feel that sense of security that Gakpo is going to get that goal? Or would you feel Rio? Probably Rio, right?
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's a similar situation with a lot of players right now in the world
Mm.
where some coaches feel that the potential's there, but are they better from the start? And usually with creative players like Rio, sometimes the answer is no. And look, I think any other left winger and Rio might get a chance, but in every
Mm.
press conference or media that Slot attends, he always seems to talk Gakpo up really high. So look, we can say what we want, can't we, Tam? But obviously the manager's going to have his decision come the end of the day. And if I'm predicting it right now, I'll say that Cody Gakpo will start. But I just love to see Rio from the start. But like you mentioned, it is a 50-50. Now, a lot of Liverpool fans aren't happy with the decision, but they've got to remember that as long as Rio still continues to get his chances off the bench and add that spark, which he did, yeah, surely he can merge his way into the first team. And like you mentioned, he is a talent, that's for sure. We can see the potential in him. Well, Tan, something we do here on Countdown to Kickoff is our one bold call, which Tom was actually really successful at a couple of weeks ago. We predicted the scoreline as well as his bold call, which was for Virgil van Dijk to score a header and salvage a 1-0 win. So well done to you, Tom, if you're watching. I'm sure you are. But Tan, what's your one bold call for this week? The Reds are back at Anfield. Come on, hit me with it.
What do you reckon I put down?
Rio to start.
No, I put a Joe Gomez goal.
Joke. Oh, finally. Surely it can happen. Surely.
Surely, I mean, this is the game, is it not? I mean, there's no easier game.
Yeah, no, you're certainly right. So Joe Gomez to score.
Yeah,
Tell you, I like
I'm
that.
gonna
I
keep
like
putting
that.
that until it actually happens, because one day it'll happen. I don't know when, but one day.
Yeah. Each time you come on, we're just gonna have to skip the bowl call section because everyone listening, we know what it's gonna be, a Joe Gomez goal. No, look, I think
Exactly.
he certainly had opportunities in his career, but I thought it was gonna happen last year, to be honest. I thought he was finally gonna break that duck, and it didn't. So, firstly, it'll be interesting to see if he starts, but secondly, Tan's gone for a Joe Gomez goal. I like it. I like it. I'm gonna go for a Hugo Ekitike brace, and
Mhm.
to be fair to Hugo, it's not such a bold call because we know his potential, but the last few weeks, Tan, I feel like he's been a bit off the pace. And, we've gone to two grounds now in Sunderland and Nottingham and got two clean sheets, but there's only been one goal that's decided it. And Hugo hasn't really had his chance to sort of do what we saw in patches at the start of the season. So I'll go for a Hugo Ekitike brace. But Tan, you've got Joe Gomez scoring, but what's your score predictions?
I've gone for a 3-0. I'm also feeling a 5-0. I mean, again, it depends however we rock up on the day.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be 3-0. Get a clean sheet. Let's have momentum. Let's eliminate any attacking threats that they have. And let's just be clinical with our passes and our shooting.
3-0. Okay, you know what? We're matching this week. We weren't matching in shirts. You were talking about pre-match whether you'd wear the same kit as me. That didn't happen, but
Mm.
score predictions, I will go 3-0 as well. So look, it's been a while between drinks since we've had a nice convincing win at Anfield, but both of us are going for a nice, convincing performance. So, Tan, that wraps up countdown to kick off. Before we go, tell fans where we can find your page because as of late, you're doing some pretty incredible stuff.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm on Instagram and TikTok as Tan Talks with two S's at the back because somebody decided to take the original one, and I was like so sad about it. I was like, damn. But yeah, I do football, Australian football. Wake up for the Liverpool games, so I got bags under my eyes because I wake up for the games. It takes the energy out of me, but it's so worth it when we win. Such a
It's an
boost.
it's an effort, yeah.
Oh, such an effort. But yeah, and that's what I do.
Perfect. Well, make sure you do check out Tan Talks. I think you featured on the weekly show before as well, if I'm right.
I did the normal podcast. This is my first countdown to kickoff, so this is pretty
First countdown
awesome.
to kick off. Nice. Well, if
Mm.
you get your score predictions right, we'll have to end the bowl call. We'll have to invite you back every week. But Joe Gomez bowl call, I like it. Well, this has been countdown to kick off. Thank you again to Tan for joining. Stay tuned to the weekly show, which does come out next week. And in the meantime, Tan, we always sign off with Up the Reds.
Up the Reds. We're going to win. Let's manifest it. Thank you for having me.